Hi Aquarius, welcome to your weekly check-in for the 19th to the 25th of November. These messages are for Aquarius Sun, Moon or Rising. If you are unfamiliar with those terms or if you just want to check out your birth chart in general, there's a link in the description box for a website that can help you out with that. Thank you to everybody who watches the videos, likes, shares, comments, as well as everyone who subscribes. It's all very much appreciated. If you'd like to book a personal reading, please see the information in the description box for information on how to do that. These are the oracle decks I'm going to be using for today's reading, and we're going to begin with a goddesses, gods and guardians message, and that will be your main theme for this weekly check-in. So, Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising, what do you need to know for this weekly check-in for the 19th to the 25th of November? What do you need to know? Right, so Aquarius, what do you need to know? What's your main theme? So you have Kali Ma, spiritual transformation. And actually, I love this card. It's, it's intense, but I love it. So let's have a look at them. Let's actually get the rest of your cards and then I'll have a look in the book and see what comes up for that. So let's get your theme from the tarot. So what is Aquarius's theme from the tarot? Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. What's your theme for the 19th to the 25th of November? You have the Star and the Knight of Swords. So your card, the Star, it's an Aquarian card. What's your energy specifically in this? Whoa, okay, your card again, the King of Swords. So there may be something, and this has come up for you before. This is nothing new here. If there is a transformation involved, it's something with communication. There is something with communication, and it may be literal. Excuse me, it may be literal. But because of this Star card, the way the angel is connecting with like the heavens and the earth, I know it's water, but let's say the earth. There may be something in terms of spiritual communication or connection involved as well here. But there may be a transformation around that. So let's see what the external or surrounding energy is. So that could be, it could be a person, people. It could be something that's creating a block or something that's calling to you or calling your attention. It could be just energy itself, like planetary alignments that are kind of pushing you to look at something. So we have, right, we've got the Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. So those are both cards of kind of assessment, potentially assessing something. But it's physical, isn't it? So you've got the swords here, the communication here, and then you've got something physical externally. That is interesting. Let's look at your guidance. I don't know why, Aquarius, I almost feel like, oh, that's interesting. 8 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles as your advice. So there's something coming to mind here. Okay, I'll leave it. I was going to say something about considering the role of the physical and the spiritual in your life, because it's just I don't know, it's just this, yeah. We'll see what comes up. There was something else I had in mind as well. Yeah, I was going to say, I almost feel like this weekly check-in isn't sufficient for this energy, but I don't want to like give you special treatment and do like the monthly spread where I look at the past, present, future, you know what I mean? But I almost feel like this isn't sufficient. But I guess when we get the clarifiers out, it'll help. It feels bigger than what this spread can look at, to be honest. But let's look at that Kali Ma spiritual transformation card, and I'll read the message from the book. So it says, a cycle of intense rebirth. This is your awakening. Hindu goddess Kali Ma is a fierce powerhouse of the creative feminine life force or Shakti energy. The ultimate spiritual transformer, Kali confronts you with your darkest fears while simultaneously activating your eternal light. Her razor-sharp swords destroy everything that isn't authentic, and her skulls represent the death of the ego. Kali is a lightning bolt of truth that initiates sweeping change. Working with Kali can be an intense process of stripping away, yet it reveals our deepest spiritual power. Her symbols are the void, the cutlass, skulls, and red hibiscus flowers. So that's just part of the message. So the swords actually could be true. I mean, I do feel like communication plays a role here, but it could be more spiritual communication. And there's something that she talked about truth a lot. So the swords probably are more connected to truth. This may be legacy related, this advice here, because there's definitely a sense of assessment happening. So there could be, there could be something about deciding what your legacy is or going towards your legacy. And there's very much an element of truth and spiritual transformation and assessment of the physical involved. Right, so the full message, it says, when everything turns upside down, the rug is swept from under you and the shock of the unexpected reverberates through your entire being. It's likely that Kali Ma is at work. Nothing feels certain right now, and you may feel vulnerable, raw, and confronted with your deepest fears. These are not easy feelings to manage, and you might want to run away from this surge of emotion or exert hard control over the rapidly shifting circumstances in your life. Trust the divine plan as you're entering a phase of phenomenal transformation. Kali leads you to an empty, stripped-back space, bringing you face to face with your naked truth. You may see who you really are. Kali will stretch you beyond all your perceived limits, haul you outside of your comfort zone, and shake you awake with sacred revelations. Your ego will fear her, but no other goddess sees your spiritual potential quite like Kali Ma. You may be facing a cycle of intense life shifts, but remember, you'll never be given anything you can't handle. Even though life may feel unraveled right now, Kali always has your back. Stare fearlessly into the void. The time has come to be nothing less than your spectacular true self. Additional meanings, taking it one day at a time can help you through a personal loss or dramatic change. This situation is a blessing in disguise. The invocation says, out of chaos comes divine order. My spirit roars with truth. So yeah, that was quite intense. And I don't know why I feel like I've got like a blockage in my throat as I'm trying to speak. So that's why I'm kind of pausing and gulping and whatever. I don't know if that's relevant to the reading, because I keep feeling and finding that things that happen in the reading are relevant to the reading. Like if I get a tickly throat, there's usually messages that come up around being unable to communicate or something like that. Or it can be other things as well. Let's clarify. Let me just get a shuffle on the clarifiers and have a look at the Star and the Knight of Swords again. So your truth could be changing. You may have a new truth around spirituality, potentially with that Star card, because the Star can be connected to spirituality. Again, there's something with connecting as above, so below, that kind of thing, and connecting with the heavens and the earth. And I don't even understand some of those things in depth, but yeah. So let's have a look and see what clarifies that, and see if it can become clearer for us. Right, potentially communication with the Eight of Wands. There is something involved there, right, Tower, that's change, isn't it? That is spiritual. Well, maybe not spiritual transformation, but it is transformation. I feel like this should be next, to be honest. So we've got the Five of Cups, the Eight of Wands. I have a thought on this Five of Cups, and it's one that hasn't come up before, but I'm going to get the rest of the clarifiers out. Yeah, it's coming up pretty strong. There's a really powerful thought behind this Five of Cups, but let's see. Let me see what else comes from this. Wow. Okay. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles, and we have Empress. So the gut feeling I'm getting from this Five of Cups, and when I say gut feeling, I mean like a literal, you know, and you get that feeling in your gut, like that, I don't know if it's adrenaline, flight, whatever. Yeah, those kind of feelings. Something about, it's almost like here, I feel like you might be grieving the old you. I know that's an odd thing to say. I'm not saying you're literally dead, but obviously not if you're watching a video. But, you know, like where you're saying goodbye to an old version of yourself, or the old you or something, and it's like grieving that. And Yeah, I've never gotten that before. I don't think I've ever gotten that before in a personal through all of the readings I've ever done. Well, I'm probably exaggerating there because I've been doing them for 5 years. I can't remember every reading I've ever done. But definitely not on the channel. I've never picked up an energy of kind of grieving over the old you or your old self, because I mean, as you know, Five of Cups, if you've seen tarot before, you've got the Three Cups built out there. So that's a loss. In this one, they're holding two cups. Usually there's two cups behind them that they can't see, but this one's holding the two cups. That's what's left. And the cups, Two of Cups card on its own, it's a card of connection, isn't it? Whether you're connecting with another person or something that you have emotions for. So it's like is he looking down? I'm just trying to see myself. Right. It's hard to tell. It looks like the person is looking down at the cups that have gone, but they are still upholding the cups that are remaining. So for me, it's like, you know, that things have changed or that you are changing. And it's kind of like saying goodbye to an old version of your life or of you or of something like that. That's what's coming to mind so that you can move forward. I mean, I did say this, I'm still getting something about communication, but it feels like, what's the word? Transition. It wasn't transition. That wasn't the first word that came to mind. It was something else actually, but okay, we'll take transition as well. Maybe there is a transition if there's a transformation. What's the word? I've lost it. Progression, so that you can kind of progress and move on to a new opportunity. And that Empress, it feels like the new version of yourself in a way. Where do I begin? I'm going to look at the Tower. This is where, I mean, this would be the old you or the old life. That's what's gone. That's what's gone. And to be frank, if this is representative of like grieving or saying goodbye to the old life or the old version of yourself, then it makes sense that the star is there, because it's like the star. Yes, I talked about as above, so below, and connection to the spiritual and the heavens and the earth and all that kind of thing. But the star is a card of hope, isn't it? That's where you have hope. You have hope for a new beginning. You have hope following your path. So if you are in the process of grieving the old you, he's still holding those cups up. To me, him holding that up, that's still connection. That is still that you know that you can start anew. Not like the other cards where the person's back is to the two cups and they don't realize that there's still something there behind them. This one, to me, if you're holding them up, you're aware. So although you're having to say goodbye, you're still like, right, I can still go forward with my truth. That's the kind of energy I'm getting. So let's look at that Tower card. So we know it's a card of change, transformation. Something's gone. The old has gone. Right, we've got the Lovers. So there may be something. It could be that Lovers, it's connection, isn't it? It can also be about choice. Have you disconnected from something that you once loved, and it's like you're saying goodbye? Like, hopefully you would have loved yourself, even an old version of yourself, in some way, shape or form. You would have loved that version, but it's like, well, I've got to change now. I've got to move on. I've got to progress. So I love that. I love that version of myself, but it's time to move forward now and progress. So bye. Thank you very much. And now I'm continuing on my journey. Or your old life. At some point you may have loved your old life, and it's like now there's needed to be a massive change. And it's like, I loved you. I appreciate you, but now I've got to move on to progress. This is quite an unusual one, to be honest. I mean, to be frank, Aquarius, a lot of your readings for me, I find it's not that you're strange or anything, but the readings, the energy is, I don't even know how to describe it. Unique is the only word I could use to describe it. So let's look at the Tower again. Anything else for that Tower card? It's moving on, isn't it? Basically the Six of Swords, and then it's the little box. For me, I always say this just reminds me of the Hermit. That's your inner guidance, your inner knowing, and then your inner hermit is assisting you to go on a journey with whatever it is in this box is very sacred to you. That's how I view this card. It may be that it could be leaving something behind that you once loved, whether it's a version of yourself or a life or something. It could also be what was I going to say? It could also be that you recognize that you love there is something that you love that you need to transform for. If that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain that. Like, say if it was in terms of self-love or something along those lines. This is going to be really difficult for me to get out, to explain. Not to say that you won't understand it, but for me, just getting it out, it's hard for me to express what I want to say sometimes. But say the old version of yourself. It's like maybe you thinking to yourself, if I want to love myself more and connect with myself more, that would be that would be the new, that would be the more. Then I have to say goodbye to that old life. I can't be that version of myself. If I want to love myself properly, I can't be the old version of myself. I think that hopefully that makes sense to someone. So let's get one more for the Tower, and then I think I'll look at the Eight of Wands and maybe the Empress. I mean, Ace of Pentacles, Empress together, that's an opportunity to birth something new, isn't it? To create something new for a start. So you've got the Six of Wands here. So Six of Wands, it's a card of success, victory. I mean, sixes are, you've got 3 sixes, haven't you? Six Lovers, Six of Swords, Six of Wands. You've got 3 cards here. It's a balance, can be associated with balance, harmony. So with that Six of Wands there, I don't know why I'm getting this concept of, again, if it was something to do with self-love or something like that, it's moving on again to a version of yourself that you, I don't know if the right way to say it is value more, but that's kind of the only way I can think of to explain it. And with this particular Six of Wands as well, I often see it, well, not often, sometimes I see it as something like an uprising. So it's almost an uprising to be the new version of yourself, if that makes sense. Let's look at the Eight of Wands. Actually, I don't think I need to do the Ace of Pentacles and the Empress, because as I said, it just feels like this is the new version of you, or the opportunity for a new life, the opportunity to create something or birth something new. So Eight of Wands, I said, there could be an element of communication, but progression definitely. That's where the self-love would be, isn't it? Or partly to do with self-love, the Ace of Cups, and fulfillment as well. So there could be something. So this is not something that I often say or have probably ever said in a reading, but the Eight of Wands can be known as the arrows of love in terms of communication. You know, like we'll say, like if it was in a love reading, it's, oh, somebody's going to express that they love you or their feelings for you or something like that. It's making me think the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Cups of expressing yourself more lovingly, whether that means the way you express yourself to other people, or it's just the expressing self-love towards yourself, if that makes sense. I think I've said if that makes sense about 1,000,000 times in this reading, haven't I? But I think when I find the energies sort of difficult to, what's the word I would say, translate from how I perceive it, that's what makes it difficult for me. It's probably not a difficult concept to understand, it's just that I find it difficult saying it. So we've now got the Ace of Cups, the Ten of Wands and Temperance. So the Ten of Wands here, for me, it's like removing the blinders, isn't it? Anything that's stood in your way, anything that's been a blockage, whatever that is for you in life, with yourself, that's being removed. So you can express yourself more lovingly and progress in whatever way that means for you. It's like Temperance here. We've spoken of Temperance of being about... it's giving that as above, so below energy again, in a way. But it can be, again, it's connection, but then it can be about harmony and balance as well. So with the blinders removed, it's like you now have the opportunity to turn that upright and create more harmony and a greater connection, whether it is to the spiritual. Because Temperance, for me, it can be spiritual connection as well. So I'll leave that there, actually, because I've spent a long time on that, as usual. I've said it in the last video that I know that I pretty much now, I've gotten into the habit and I'm used to it now. I'm probably always going to spend more time on the main theme. And then as we get further along, less time on each of these cards, because I've covered so much in that. So it looks like it's transformation. The communication, it could be that whole expressing yourself more lovingly, whether to yourself or to others. But it's like saying goodbye to the old you, I feel, is a big thing here as well. Right, so we've got the King of Swords, and that is a card of expression. It's a card of authenticity. It can be about authenticity, truth as well. Why's the King of Swords here? That's your energy. You may have had a realization, like an epiphany, and that's why this is happening, to be honest. Eight of Pentacles, I mean, that's doing the work, isn't it? That is where you're probably aware that you're transforming and you're doing what you have to do to transform. The sun for me, it can be joy, happiness, potential. It's enlightenment as well for me, or illumination. Anything else here? You may have been, it may be that you're illuminated, that you need to do the work to transform, or of what work it is you need to do. I'm going to try that again, although that was probably very relevant. Again, Five of Pentacles, it's like moving on. It doesn't feel particularly sad, to be honest with you. It just feels like you know what you have to do. You know, and it's like, you know, when you watch a film, like a dramatic horror or action or thriller, and the character, and there's something that they're battling against, and it's like a character sort of like, I know what I have to do, and then they go off, and you don't exactly know what they're going to do because they don't tell you the plan, but it's just like, I know what I have to do, and then they go. Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting this image in my head. So like one of my favourite films, I've got a few, is The Mummy, not the Tom Cruise version, the one with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, I think is how she pronounces it, because she's German, isn't she? Yeah, I absolutely love that film. I prefer the first one. Second one's not too bad. Third one, sorry if I offend anyone, but hell no. So I think in the second one, that's the one where, spoiler alert, so you know, you might want to silence it until you start seeing me throwing cards down again, where her character dies. And before that happens, obviously, they have to go and they're trying to find the sun and everything and whatever and save the sun. And there's a bit where, I can't remember what it is, what happens, but he has to go and they have to separate to go and do the battle or whatever it is they're doing. And he like gives her a kiss goodbye. And it's like one of those things where you just don't know what's going to happen, but you know you have to go and get on with it and do what has to be done. You have to make a sacrifice, don't you? You know that you might not come out of it alive. And that's the energy I'm getting here. I know that's a really weird example to give, but that's kind of the image that kind of came into my head with that, where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going exactly, but I have to do this. I have to go now kind of energy. So anything else for that? So the Queen of Cups was trying to come out before. Is this going to be the Hierophant now? Nope, it's the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune tried to come out before as well, actually. And it was the Hierophant. It's on the bottom of the deck anyway. The Hierophant wanted to come out too. So we've got the Queen of Cups. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. I would say this is emotional resilience. Is the feeling I'm getting from this card. I'm getting a sense of emotional resilience. That's not something that's come up for me before, where, again, you know, you're illuminated. You know that you have to do certain work. You know that you have to say goodbye to an old version of yourself and move on, and you don't know what's going to happen. But there's a level of emotional resilience here where it's like, I'm just going to have to do what I'm going to have to do, and I can face it and I can deal with it. And I recognize my emotions. I acknowledge everything, and I'm going to just let myself go through this and sort of see it through. That's the kind of energy I'm getting through that. So it's truth, isn't it? Like this whole thing, it's the truth of what you have to do to transform. Right, okay, I'll leave that there. I don't think I need anything else for that, to be honest with you. So 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. I said that's an external energy that could have been kind of pushing you to assess what you have to do, because it's practical, isn't it? Practical Pentacles cards. You've had a few Pentacles cards. What do you have to do to transform? That's something that I'm getting from that. Anything else? Well, for a start, you're going to have to go through challenges, which is a given in transformation, isn't it? You're going to have to face challenges, whether it's external, internal, both. You've got a few cards that have come out. You've got the 3 of Wands. And the thing I'm getting here is, bear with me one second, let me think on that. You may potentially be thinking about what you want the outcome to be, but I don't know if it's specific. It's a specific outcome. I don't know how to explain that, but you know, like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can explain that, right? You've got the 9 of Wands here. Like, say with something like this, for example, say if it's a transformation, what intention would you set for the outcome of transformation? That you come out stronger would be the main thing, wouldn't it? Because there couldn't be a specific, I don't know if there could be a specific outcome. I mean, I know saying you want to come out stronger is a specific outcome, but it's general, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really know how to explain that. Hopefully somebody out there gets what I'm saying. But it's like an intention. Maybe the intention is just that you'll survive it. That is, it's general, isn't it? It's a general intention. There's not like a specific thing attached to it. I hope someone understands that. If you do, feel free to comment, because I'm finding it hard to explain. Yeah, the Queen of Swords, she's a survivor. You've got the Nine of Wands there, which this one often looks to me like a caged animal, but based on what everything else that's here, it's more like resilience. Remember I said emotional resilience when that Queen of Cups came up? So you've got the Nine of Wands, that's about resilience. The Queen of Swords, so she's resilient. She's known as the Heartbreak Queen a lot of the time, isn't she? Like, she's been through divorce allegedly, and she's learned, she's walked through fire, she's learned from her truths. So that could be another intention. Through going through this, you may know that you're going to face challenges, but it's sort of like your intention is, well, can I survive this? Can please help me to survive this? That's one intention. Can I learn from this? Can I become stronger through this? Let's see what else comes up. I have no idea what to even call this reading. I don't think there's any title that could match it. Right, you've got the Nine of Pentacles there. Let's see what I can get for that if I do that on its own. I mean, there's one thing that I associate with the Nine of Pentacles, that's liberation a lot of the time, isn't it? So maybe there is an intention here as well of something that will free you as well. Or something about having a stronger foundation within yourself as well. So you've got the Knight of Swords. Anything else with that Knight of Pentacles? I could call the reading as above, so below. I mean, that's just baffling, to be honest. But right, let's see. We've got the Three of Swords. To me, that feels like that's where you come out stronger, isn't it? Because, like, you've got the Three of Swords there, which is pain, isn't it? It's hurt, it's pain. And then you've got the Knight of Swords, like, charging towards the pain. So it's like being strong enough that you can go through anything if you've survived this. So that would be building a stronger foundation within yourself. Anything else? You have the Two of Cups. So that's a card of connection again. What else wanted to come out? The Magician. I'll leave that. For anyone, if this transformation is... Right, so it could be about connecting, like being fearless in terms of building a stronger foundation through this and being willing to overcome any pain, or prepared to overcome any pain. There could be an element of, I think what I was going to say is, for anyone who's going through this, if this is sort of connected to soulmates, twin flames, whatever you want to call it, that can, I mean, to be honest, that often triggers people's transformations, doesn't it? I know it did for me, and I know that's happened to other people as well, where a romantic connection has triggered spiritual awakening. It's not uncommon. So there could be something here where this Two of Cups is relevant for that. Like, what, no matter what you've gone through, however you've transformed through this situation, it's like, now I've been through this. It was so painful that I can face any pain after this. I can say that for myself, that after going through that experience, it's like, yeah, I can... Well, not literally anything, but you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be afraid to be hurt in a relationship again. And I haven't been since the experience I had, where my transformation was triggered by a romantic connection, because it's like, well, that hurt so badly. What could be worse than that? Well, there probably could be something worse than that, but you know what I mean? It's like you face that, so you have the courage to face other things as well. If that makes any sense. That's, you know, it's building a stronger foundation so that you can face anything and have more courage. I think that's all I want to say about that. So it's knowing that you have challenges to overcome and setting intentions about how you're going to build a stronger foundation from it. Right, I will leave that there. And it's not just romantic connections as well. It's like, say if there was something family related in this, where you've been hurt by family, going through a transformation, it would kind of, family stuff can traumatize people, can't it? So it's like, if you can overcome this kind of thing through a transformation, then you can heal all sorts of pain. And and know that you're able to heal any kind of, or almost any kind of pain after going through that kind of experience. So let's look at the Eight of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. That's your advice. So again, I said it's leaving the old life or an old version of yourself behind, and it would have been something that you were emotionally attached to. So remember when I said the Lovers was there, I believe, here, and I said it might be like leaving, was it here? I think it clarified the Five of Cups or something. Leaving behind something that you may have once loved, an old version of yourself, you know, something like that. It's leaving something behind that you once loved, because you know that you might have a legacy, or there's something more for you that you want to progress towards. So let's see what else comes up for that. Seven of Wands, that's that resilience, isn't it? That's knowing that once you've been through such a tough experience like this, that you can almost face anything. You've got Temperance there, and that feels here, Temperance feels like integration. Maybe integration of the old version of yourself and the new version of yourself, or something, or the old life and the new life potentially. But it can create sort of a more, I don't know what the word is, rounded, balanced, harmonious version of yourself. Yeah, I was going to say, if that makes sense, and I realise I've said it too many times already. So what else do we have? We have the Devil. That's the fears and the doubts, isn't it? Where you've probably built up enough strength from past experiences and moving forward to face any of that kind of thing. We've got the World. It's successfully completing an old cycle, which, with this transformation, spiritual transformations, they're not overnight, are they? I mean, I'm still trying to debate if I'm like in one long ongoing one, or if I've got different chapters of one, or different ones, but it never ends, does it? So there's definitely a new chapter here, or a new cycle at the very least, from what you've just been through. And you may be still in the middle of it, to be honest. Right, the King of Wands. I mean, he's a very proactive king, isn't he? He just goes for it, gets on with whatever he's got to do. And then you've got the Nine of Cups. You may be going towards a version of yourself, or a version of your life that you're more content with than the previous version. That doesn't mean that that's the end and then that's it now and then you're content forever. Because that's not, with cycles, it's up and down, isn't it? But for this particular cycle, period, whatever you want to call it, phase, it's like going to a stronger version of yourself, a more content version of yourself, a new version of something in your life. And as I say, there may be legacy attached here, or you may be thinking long term, but there is that whole thing of a stronger foundation as well. So your guidance is, I guess it's just, don't be afraid to leave things behind, to leave something behind, even if you are emotionally attached to your old life or yourself or whatever. Don't fear leaving that behind, because there's more out there for you. There's a bigger, do I want to say better? I guess a bigger version of yourself, or a bigger version of your life, or more expanded, or whatever word you want to use, version of yourself or your life out there for you. Right, I'll leave that there because I've struggled enough to communicate. Maybe the whole communication thing in this reading was my lack of ability to communicate the way I want to, but yeah. So let's get you a final oracle card from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. I'm surprised your reading isn't as long as I thought it would be. The last reading I did for a weekly check-in, I think it was Aries, was 47 minutes. It's like, what? The weekly check-ins, in the beginning, I aimed to get them to be about maybe 10 to 20 minutes. I think I was dreaming when I said that, because I know that I talk a lot and I like to go in depth with things. So yeah, I think half an hour is not bad for me for a weekly check-in. Right, final message for Aquarius, please. Final message for Aquarius. Right, you have Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit. Okay. And that's at 1 and 7, 17, 1 and 7. It's 8, isn't it? And that is about movement. So, yeah. So let's get the book and I'll read the message to you. says, the oracle message says, as you look around you, can you sense the magic that pulses through the world? Have you witnessed how every thought can become a thing? How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience? The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you will want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow Spirit says you are right on target now to see your dreams magically come into being in the visible world. The laws of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it is still coalescing into form, still residing in the invisible realms of co-creation. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way, for Spirit is your co-creation partner. The protection message says, Crow Spirit wants to know why you think there is no magic in the world, or do you believe that there once was, but it ran out, leaving nothing but ordinariness? Although conditions have become challenging, you have no reason to believe that everything you set an intention for will elude you. Right now, the outer world is shifting. Can you feel it? Maybe you are fretting about experiencing the results of some of your poor choices or judgment from the past. Crow Spirit is here to remind you that you can always course correct and get back on track. Maybe you've been hit by a loss or disappointment as a result of an event that had absolutely nothing to do with your manifesting, yet it has shaken you to your core. Crow Spirit asks you to trust that no matter the temporary conditions, things will right themselves very soon. The law of balance makes it inevitable that this too shall pass. So I'm not going to add anything else. I've talked enough, and I'm going to actually have a cup of coffee now after that. I actually think it was I like the reading. It just felt really hard for me to communicate in the reading for some strange reason. But I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you very much for watching. Scorpio, Aquarius, Sun, Moon. Well, Scorpio is transformation, isn't it? And we're still in Scorpio season at the time I'm recording. So, right. Thank you for watching Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Feel free to like, share, or comment on the video. You're welcome to subscribe to the channel as well. And if you'd like a personal reading, then please see the description box for information on that. But until the next reading, take care.